or throughout some part of the day, I come out here on the property, and usually I walk the property or I sit here by the statues, and I appreciate what I have. For those of you that don't know, there was a period of time in my life in which I was actually homeless, and I literally lived in a cardboard box. But that seems like a whole lifetime ago. Now, every day I come out here and I look at everything I have. We're on 10 acres. I have 2 houses on this property and 3 RVs. That's a radical shift. I went from living in a cardboard box to we have 2 houses and 3 RVs. My parents never owned anything in their life. And now I own all this. Legally, it's not in my name, it's in my partner's name. But Dan would put it in my name as well if I asked, but I don't care to have that done. But I get to live here. I get to have this luxury. And I walk the property every day to appreciate what we have, to remind myself how far I've come and the journey it's been. And I've spent a lot of time to make our property as nice as possible. And I also try to share what we have. For the most part, we have the RVs to occasionally give other people a place to stay. Like Terrence came and stayed with us for a few weeks during a transition period. And Peter's been with us for now a year living in one of our RVs. But because I was homeless, I am able to appreciate what I have and share what I have. And that's why I strive to help people out when I can. Ever since I had my first apartment, I've always taken in strays, as one person once put it. Because when I was homeless, there was someone that took me in and helped me out. And so now that I'm in a position to do the same, to help out other people, I try to do that as often as I can when appropriate. But let me show you a little bit of the property. In fact, let's take a walk of the property. So today I'm actually sitting here by the Buddha statue and Kuan Yin and St. Francis. And over here we have the beehives, which we are going to be collecting our first honey in the spring or this fall. And so then we have the houses and the RVs. And then the property gets real beautiful as we get to the back of the property. We have a pond in which I've been building the ecosystem in to be able to sustain large life. That way we can eventually fish that pond and it can be a food source. And in the spring we plant the garden on the back side of the property. And then we also have 2 festivals out here. Last year was the first year for both of those festivals, and this year will be the second year for both of those festivals. So for the most part, our property is really unused. And we have the sheep and we have the donkeys, but they're mostly here to mow the back property, for I don't have to do it. But I do realize that 10 acres is a lot of land compared to what most people have. And so that's why every day I take a walk around my property and I appreciate it and make sure that I'm not taking it for granted. And the girls love to come back here with me. But I'll show you all the pond. So we have the solar out here that pumps the aeration. It's just so beautiful and peaceful. And then we put all the boulders over here by the pond. Most of those boulders came out of that pond when we dug it deeper. But it's just so peaceful back here, and whenever I can, I come back here and just enjoy it. And I'm always trying to improve it. But every day I get to enjoy this property. And it makes me humbled of how far I've come in life. That I was one of those people that was on the streets, literally living in a refrigerator box beside a dumpster. And now I have more luxuries in life than I ever imagined I would. And yes, we're not rich by any means, but we're also not poverty anymore. But for a long time, even all growing up as a child, we were always poverty. I wouldn't say we're upper middle class, maybe lower middle class now, but that's good enough. I really don't feel the need to upgrade my life too much. I don't understand people that always want to get rich and have lots of money and multi-million-dollar mansions. I still don't understand those people. How can someone justify having a multi-million-dollar mansion when people are homeless and not having proper food and nutrition? So my partner has worked his entire life and spent the vast majority of his resources on this property and the two houses that we have. So I always try to make sure that I'm always appreciative of the sacrifice that he's made and that he makes every day by going to work and providing. And yes, I have my business and I have my own money, but the vast majority of the comfort we have is because of my partner. It's just so beautiful back here. This is the wooded area, and this roadway here didn't exist when we first bought this property. We had to clear this fence line and repair the fence, and it took 3 months for me to clear the fence line all the way around the property and fix it. And I come back here and I get to see all the birds and the squirrels and the rabbits and all the other wildlife that lives out here. We also have some armadillos that live on the property. And so I always try to strike a balance between having enough wooded area and enough cleared area for the events. Our events aren't too big, but I'm sure eventually they'll grow, at which point we'll probably clear some more of these junk trees out of here. But when we get back here to the back of our property, I also get to enjoy the neighbor's property. There's this huge cattle ranch that's right behind us. And it opens up into this nice, beautiful pasture. And sometimes there's coyotes out here, and sometimes there's wild turkeys out here. And this gentleman that owns this property back here, he has a huge amount of land. And I like the fact that no one lives back here. So I get to enjoy the nature of it. So as far as you can see to the clearing, through the clearing that way, and straight forward and over that way is his property, and no one really lives on it. And so we get to enjoy their land even though we don't go on to it. And because no one lives there, lots of wildlife lives around here. And I very much like nature. So for me, it's very important to keep remembering where I came from, keep remembering that cardboard box I lived in, and how far I've come. And yes, the journey's been hard and difficult. And if someone would have said back when I was living in that cardboard box that I would have 10 acres, 2 houses, 3 RVs, and the ability to occasionally give someone a place to live, I would never have believed it. It seemed like it was impossible. And that's why I try to every day tell Dan how much I appreciate what he's done for us. Because I'm sure that it's easy to get wrapped up in the day-to-day. And it's easy to not appreciate what you got. And I tried to tell Dan one time, because he worries about, is he providing enough, that it's a world away from where I came from. I also tried to teach Dan to appreciate the small things, like that cup of coffee in the morning. Because there were days when I was homeless that I didn't get to even have a cup of coffee on a cold day. So I like to try to encourage people to look at those small little things like that. When you get to have those things every day, they become normal and you stop appreciating them. I guess for me, because I was homeless at such a young age, at 17, and it made a radical impact on my life. That radical impact is that I weigh a lot of things that happened to me throughout my day-to-day life based off of those times. And that's why a lot of people seem like, and they say that I let things just roll off of me. Yes, sometimes they bother me, but then I'm over it quickly. I'm over it quickly because I remind myself how much I have now. Here's some more of our property. We cleared this and made it like a park, cut all the trees off all the way up to about 8 or 9 feet high. And when we have the events, a lot of people come back here and they pitch their tents and they go camping. And so, but I really don't own this myself. It belongs legally to Dan, even though technically it's just as much mine as it is his. And I really don't care to own too much in life. In fact, I've already told Dan that since I'm in line to inherit this property, that it is likely that it will be given away to the church. And yes, I have my business, and yes, I bought another business a while back ago and merged with my own, and right now I'm in negotiations to buy another business and merge it with my own. And so, in that sense, people will say, well, you're out to make the fortune just like everyone else. But in fact, it's the opposite. I want to make a lot of money in life where I can give away the vast majority of that money. Because I've already reached my plateau. I'm comfortable with what I have, and I don't need to own too much more. So now anything extra that I make in life or more success I have in life, that's for charity. That's going to go to help people and make a difference. Because I don't need anything else. I've got everything I need. And so I come out here every day and I enjoy the woods and I enjoy the wildlife and remind myself where I've come from, and also remind myself how little other people still have. And by making myself appreciated every day, I'm ensuring that I'm not going to get lost in any kind of success that I have. Because I feel like people get lost in their success and they forget where they come from, and they forget, most importantly, how little other people have. And I know that rich people that are very rich, they give to charity. And that's nice and all, but I can't help but to wonder why wealthy people only give as much to charity as they can get a tax break for, or that it will benefit them politically or financially in another way. So as I get more success, I just keep taking these little walks, and every day I keep reminding myself that there's only so much one person needs, and after that, you got to start giving it away. You got to start helping other people. I think that's going to be my biggest challenge as my company grows and as life becomes more successful, making it where I don't forget and that I keep remembering that there's no need to have real luxury, because compared to the cardboard box I was living in all those years ago, this is true luxury. I got 10 acres, 2 homes, 3 RVs. That's a world away from a cardboard box in a cold winter night. So, this is my morning walk. I didn't intend to take y'all along with my morning walk, but this is what happened. I hope I gave y'all something to think about, a little bit of insight into my life. I hope y'all have a wonderful day. And I hope more than anything, y'all remember where you come from and how little other people have. Y'all have a good day. I'm gonna go now.